This is Robert Demers for Conman here at the New York Comic Con, and I'm here with the comic book creator Matthew Petz, who is promoting his book War of the Woods. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. It's Thursday and there's a lot of people here. It's pretty great.
The con's been treating you so well for the first few hours?
Yeah, first few hours have been, we're sort of in the back of Artist Alley, so I was a little unsure, are there going to be people here or what's going to happen? But it's pretty good. I've sold a couple books already, and it's literally like a few hours old, so yeah, it seems like it's going to be a good show.
Can you please tell our audience a little bit about War of the Woods?
Sure. It's what I usually say is it's Wind in the Willows meets War of the Worlds. So imagine a giant alien invasion of Earth, and we see it from the perspective of the animal kingdom. And specifically, there's the main character who's an otter, and his friend who's a turtle. They're sort of the Luke and Han Solo of the story, I would say, or Frodo and Aragorn, stuff like that. So, that's the basic concept. And right now, it comes out digitally through Comixology for the app. And I sell some print books at shows like that because people really want that. And so far, it's 2 seasons long, and we're sort of getting to the war. I had to do a lot of setup and everything like that. But yeah, it's a little bit of Star Wars, a little bit of Lord of the Rings, a little bit of Watership Down, kind of like Mouse Guard in that there's a whole culture involved in the story. But that's the basic premise.
And where did the inspiration for the book come from?
Originally, it was part of DC Comics had a web imprint called Zuda Comics, and it was part of that. It won a competition, and it was going to come out through DC Comics' Zuda imprint, but then DC closed that down. So, didn't come out there, but since I had just signed on with them, I was able to actually get the rights back and do whatever I wanted with it. So once I got that back, I started publishing it myself, go through Comixology, and that's sort of how it came out. Originally, the idea was it was going to be about an alien invasion of Earth, and it was just going to be humans. But then I was thinking, what's my fiance going to like? Is she going to read the comic? And she would never read that comic in a million years. But she likes otters. So I said, all right, can I make the main characters otters and animals? That seems really ridiculous, borderline stupid. But then once you start playing around with it, it becomes way more interesting than a father and son that are humans trying to survive, So that was sort of if I could get her to be interested in it, that seems worth it.
And you mentioned that you have a little bit of inspiration from Mouse Guard. How do you keep it original from that and be its own book?
Well, can't read that stuff. I love it, and I love to browse through it and sort of make sure I know what's going on. But it's sort of like if you're in a heavy metal band, you would never want to listen to heavy metal music all the time because then you're going to probably start sounding like Metallica or Pantera or something like that. So what I like to do is I don't read too many comics that are like this sort of thing. So it's more influenced by say maybe a Batman comic book than people might realize because you don't want to get too much influence from stuff that is too much like it, and you kind of keep your distance a little bit, and you don't want to steal names or plot points or stuff like that. So.
And is it correct that you wrote and drew the book?
Actually, yeah, I wrote and draw it, I ink it, color it, and then do everything. It's if you ever want to learn how to make comic books, do everything yourself because you will absolutely learn how difficult it is to actually make a comic book. To actually get more than 3 or 4 pages done feels fantastic, So yeah, I do everything, and at this point I really like that. Having all that control is pretty good.
I noticed the animals have more of a realistic design. Did you take a lot of examples from actual photographs of animals as example for the artwork?
Yeah, exactly. I wanted it to feel more natural. I didn't want them to have little outfits or swords or weapons. I think in this comic, the only thing they have is a slingshot, and that's sort of really, really basic. They throw stones and use sticks and stuff. I didn't want it to be... It's already really fantasy that aliens are coming down and that there's the animal society. So adding swords and stuff like that and clothing was almost too much. So yeah, I would look at photo reference to try and keep the animals as animal as possible, not something a little bit more fantastical,
Well, hopefully they were not too animal and you stayed away some of the particular aspects of otter life.
Yeah, I mean they're, it's
The
not,
more disturbing aspect.
Yes, they're not. In the comic, there's a plot point where all the animals are working together because in a normal life you wouldn't see an alligator let an otter ride on his head like a boat. So you got to sort of play around with it and not keep it so real that it's weird or something.
And where can the people at home find your book, or if they want to purchase it or learn more about it?
You can go to warofthewoodscomic.com, and that'll sort of bring you everywhere. That'll bring you to the Comixology app where you can download the comics right there. They're 99-cent installments. And from War of the Woods Comic, you can also go to a Facebook page where I have lots of updates where you'll be able to get print books that I'm doing and stuff like that. So that's the easiest way.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us, and enjoy the rest of the con.
Thank you so much, and I hope everyone has a great time today. Thanks.